"Sir, can you take me home?" A black girl asked a billionaire. His reaction changed everything. The tires scream across wet asphalt. A black Bentley jerks sideways as rain slams against the windshield like thrown gravel. Headlights slice through the storm in sharp white blades. Darius Blackwell grips the steering wheel. His knuckles turn pale. The highway ahead dissolves into sheets of water. Wind pushes against the car so hard the frame hums. Then, a small shape darts across the road. Darius slams the brakes. The Bentley fishtails. Rubber burns against pavement. The smell of it floods the cabin. The car stops inches from a tiny pair of pink sneakers. For a second, the storm goes silent inside his mind. A little girl stands in the headlights. Rain soaks her braids. Water drips from the edge of her jacket. She isn't crying. She just stares at him. Darius exhales slowly and opens the car door. Cold rain slaps his face the second he steps out. "Hey," he calls over the storm. "Kid, are you okay?" The girl doesn't move. Lightning flashes across the sky. For a moment, the entire highway glows silver. That's when Darius sees her eyes clearly. Wide, brown, calm in a way that makes no sense for a child standing in the middle of a storm at night. "Where are your parents?" he asks. The girl tilts her head. Her voice comes out small but steady. "Sir, can you take me home?" Thunder cracks overhead. Darius scans the road. Empty. There's no cars, no houses, just miles of dark highway and the smell of rain and gasoline. He crouches so he's closer to her height. "What's your name?" The girl brushes water from her face. "Zaria?" "Zaria what?" "Zaria Rivers." Darius glances around again. Still nothing. The wind pushes against his coat. "How old are you, Zaria?" "6. 6 years old. Standing alone on a highway in the middle of a storm." "Where's your mom?" The girl points down the road. "Just home." Darius sighs slowly. His driver instincts say this situation feels wrong. But leaving her here would be worse. He opens the back door of the Bentley. "Get in." Zaria climbs into the seat without hesitation. Rainwater drips onto the leather. Darius gets back behind the wheel. The moment he starts driving again, the girl leans forward. "Sir?" "Yeah." "Thank you for stopping." He nods once. Then he asks the question that has been sitting heavy in his chest. "Ichi, what were you doing in the middle of the road?" Zaria stares out the window as rain streaks across the glass. "I was waiting." "For who?" She turns slowly. "For you." Darius frowns. The windshield wipers beat a steady rhythm. Thump, thump, thump. "You don't know me," he says. Zaria shrugs. "My mommy says you would come one day." The words hang in the car. Darius laughs once under his breath. That's impossible. But something about the way she said it makes his stomach tighten. He drives another mile before speaking again. "Where do you live?" Zaria gives him an address. Darius freezes. His foot eases off the gas because the street she just named sits less than 5 minutes away, right behind the massive Blackwell estate. He glances at her through the mirror. "How do you know that address?" "That's where my mommy and me live." Darius's chest tightens again. He has lived in that neighborhood for 8 years. He knows every house, every family, on every gate. And he has never seen this little girl before. The rain begins to slow as the Bentley exits the highway. Streetlights glow softly on wet pavement. Zaria hums quietly to herself in the back seat. The sound feels strangely peaceful. Too peaceful. Darius pulls into the quiet neighborhood. Tall trees sway gently in the wind. Large homes sit behind stone walls and iron gates. He turns onto the street she mentioned. Then he stops. Because the house she points to is small, or old, barely holding together. It sits wedged between 2 mansions, like it doesn't belong. The porch light flickers weakly. Darius studies the place. Your mom lives here? Zaria nods. Yes. Darius steps out and walks her to the door. Rainwater drips from the roof. The smell of wet wood fills the air. Zaria knocks. Footsteps echo inside. The door opens slowly. A woman stands there. Her hair is tied in a loose scarf. She wears a faded sweater. But when she looks up, her entire body freezes. Her eyes lock onto Darius. The color drains from her face. The silence stretches. Zaria smiles. Mommy, he brought me home. The woman whispers one word. Darius. The sound of his name hits him like a punch. Because he has never seen this woman before in his life. Or at least, that's what he thinks. The wind moves through the trees. Rain drips from the porch roof. Neither adult speaks. Zaria looks between them. And then she says something that makes Darius's chest tighten. Mommy told me my daddy would come one day. Darius blinks. What? The woman quickly pulls Zaria behind her. Go inside, baby. But now. Zaria disappears into the house. The woman turns back to Darius. Her voice shakes. You need to leave. I think we need to talk, he says slowly. No. Yes. Darius, please. How do you know my name? She presses her lips together. Rain falls steadily around them. And finally she whispers, You really don't remember me. A strange unease creeps into his chest. Should I? The woman studies his face carefully. Then she sighs in defeat. My name is Imani Rivers. The last name hits him again. Rivers. Same as the girl. Same as the child who just called him daddy. Darius shakes his head. This doesn't make any sense. Imani laughs softly, but there's pain in the sound. It will. She begins closing the door. Wait. She stops. What? Why did your daughter say I'm her father? Imani stares at him for a long moment. Then she says something that sends a chill through his spine. Because you are. And the door closes. Darius stands alone on the porch. Rain drips from the roof. Wind rustles the trees. His phone buzzes in his pocket. A text message. Unknown number. He opens it. 3 words appear on the screen. She finally found you. Darius slowly turns toward the house again. Inside, the porch light suddenly shuts off. Darkness swallows the doorway, and somewhere behind that door, a secret waits that could destroy everything he believes about his life. If this moment shocked you, imagine what Darius will discover next. What would you do if a child suddenly called you their parent? Do you think Imani is telling the truth? Or hiding something deeper? And what secret is Zaria carrying that even her mother fears? Hi, my beautiful family. Shuv. Welcome back to Mr. Peterson Love Stories, your own family story channel. May peace cover every home listening tonight. May protection guide your families. And may every heart here find hope even in the middle of storms. Amen. And family, stay close. Because the next chapter reveals a secret from 8 years ago that Darius Blackwell buried so deep, he doesn't even remember it happened. But someone else does. And they've been waiting. Chapter 2. The front door slams shut. Rain keeps dripping from the roof as Darius stands frozen on the porch. The words echo in his head. Because you are. His heartbeat thuds against his ribs. Inside the small house, footsteps move quickly across wooden floors. A lamp switches on. A soft yellow glow spills through the curtain. Darius steps closer to the door. He raises his hand to knock, then pauses. The wind shifts. From inside, he hears Zaria's voice. Mommy, why did you send him away? A chair scrapes across the floor. Imani answers softly. Because it's complicated, baby. But you said Daddy would come. Darius's chest tightens. The rain begins again, light but steady. He should leave. This situation feels like walking into someone else's life story halfway through the chapter. But something inside him refuses to move. He knocks. Once, twice. Footsteps return to the door. When it opens again, Imani's face is guarded. "Oh, what are you still doing here? You told me I'm that child's father." "Yes. And then you shut the door." "Because I didn't expect tonight." Darius exhales slowly. "Neither did I." For a moment, neither of them speaks. The smell of something warm drifts from inside the house. Cinnamon, maybe. Zarya peeks around the hallway corner. Her small face lights up. "Sir." Imani gently pushes her back. "Go sit down." "But, Zarya." The girl disappears again. Darius studies Imani carefully. She looks exhausted, but her eyes hold a strange calm, like someone who has carried the same truth for years. "Can I come in?" he asks. Imani hesitates. Thunder rolls faintly in the distance. Finally, she steps aside. The house is small. A narrow hallway leads to a modest living room. A couch sits against one wall. A small table holds coloring books and crayons. Zarya sits there, drawing. When Darius enters, she smiles again. "Hi." He nods. Hi." Imani closes the door behind him. Rain taps softly against the windows. "Sit," she says. Darius lowers himself into the chair across from the couch. The floor creaks under his weight. Everything about this house feels fragile. Imani stands across from him with her arms folded. "You don't remember me," she says quietly. "I've never seen you before." Her eyebrow lifts slightly. 8 years ago, she says. Darius searches his memory. "Nothing." "I'm sorry," he says. Imani looks toward the kitchen window. "For you, it was one night. For me, it changed everything." Darius leans forward. "What night?" Zaria's crayons scratch softly against paper. Imani lowers her voice. "Atlanta. Charity Gala. Blackwell Foundation." The memory hits him like lightning. Music, champagne glasses, crowds of investors. He remembers that event clearly. But Imani? He shakes his head. "I met hundreds of people that night." Imani nods slowly. "Yes," her eyes drift to Zarya. "But only one of them left pregnant." The room goes quiet. Darius feels heat rise behind his eyes. "That's impossible," Imani laughs quietly. "I expected that reaction." Zarya looks up from her drawing. "Mommy?" "It's okay, baby. Keep coloring." Darius rubs his forehead. "Listen," he says carefully. "I'm not saying you're lying, but if something like that happened, I would remember." Imani studies him. Then she says something unexpected. "Oh, you were drunk." The word lands heavy. Darius leans back in the chair. "I don't drink like that." "You did that night." Her voice stays calm. "You were celebrating a major deal." Images flicker through his mind. Music, laughter, a balcony, fresh night air. But the memory stops there, like someone erased the rest. Imani walks to a small shelf. She opens a drawer. When she turns back, she holds a photograph. She hands it to him. Darius looks down. His stomach drops. The photo shows him standing on that balcony, his arm around a young woman, Imani. Both of them smiling. Close. Too close for strangers. "That was taken right before midnight," she says. Darius stares at the image. Rain taps harder against the windows. This could mean anything." "Yes, but it doesn't prove there's more." She pulls out another photo. This one freezes the air in the room. Darius sits on the balcony couch. Imani sits beside him. Their foreheads touch. Then his hand rests on hers. The look between them is unmistakable. The sound of crayons stops. Zarya walks closer. "Is that you, Mommy?" Imani nods gently. "Yes." "And him?" She points to Darius. "Yes." Zarya smiles softly. "I told you he'd come." Darius feels a strange pressure in his chest. He sets the photos on the table. Even if this is real, that still doesn't prove the child is mine. Imani nods again. "You're right." She reaches into the drawer one more time. This time she pulls out a sealed envelope. The paper looks worn from years of being handled. She places it in front of him. A DNA test. Darius stares at the envelope. His pulse pounds in his ears. "You tested it?" "3 times." "Why?" "Because I couldn't believe it either." The room feels smaller suddenly. He slowly opens the envelope. The paper inside trembles in his hands. His eyes move across the printed lines. Name, Zarya Rivers. Father, Darius Blackwell. At probability, 99.99%. The words blur for a moment. Darius lowers the paper. "That's impossible." Imani shakes her head slowly. "No." Zarya climbs onto the couch. She studies his face carefully. "You look like me," she says. Darius stares at her. For the first time, he notices it. The eyes, the shape of her nose, even the slight dimple in her cheek. His throat tightens. "But why didn't you tell me?" he asks Imani. "I tried." "What do you mean?" She walks toward the window. "They were 8 years ago. I went to your office." "And?" "They said you moved to New York." Darius frowns. "I never left Atlanta permanently." "That's what I found out later." "Then why didn't you contact me again?" Imani turns slowly. Her eyes carry years of quiet pain. "Because someone paid me not to." The words drop like stones. Darius stands up. "Who?" Imani hesitates. Before she can answer, a car pulls up outside. Headlights wash across the living room walls. Zarya runs to the window. "Mommy, there's a big black car." Darius walks beside her. His stomach tightens instantly. Because he recognizes the vehicle, a long black sedan, the same kind used by his corporate security team. The back door opens. A tall man steps out. Rain glistens on his coat. Even from the window, Darius knows exactly who it is. Marcus Hale, his head of security. But Marcus isn't supposed to know he's here. Zarya looks up at Darius. "Is that your friend?" Darius feels cold spread through his chest. "No." A hard knock shakes the front door. "Once, twice," Imani whispers nervously. "Who is that?" Darius doesn't answer, because Marcus Hale never shows up anywhere without a reason. And if he's here tonight, then someone inside Darius's own world has been watching this house for a very long time. And the next thing Marcus says might reveal a truth far more dangerous than a hidden child. If you were Darius right now, would you open that door? Why would someone from his own security team track this house? And the bigger question, who paid Imani to stay silent for 8 years? Because the man standing outside might hold the answer, and that answer could change everything. The second knock rattles the door harder. Wood shakes in the frame. Rain runs down the glass like thin rivers. Zarya grips the curtain with both hands and whispers, "Anan, he looks serious." Darius already knows that. Marcus Hale never travels without purpose, and he never shows up unannounced. Darius walks toward the door slowly. Each step feels heavier than the last. Behind him, Imani speaks quietly. "You know him?" Darius nods once. "My head of security." Imani's eyes narrow. "Then why does he look like he's here to arrest someone?" Darius doesn't answer, because that is exactly what it feels like. Another knock. "Mister, I Blackwell," Marcus calls through the door. "I know you're inside." Imani stiffens. "You told him you were coming here." "I didn't." The room goes quiet again. Zarya looks between them. "Are we in trouble?" Darius kneels beside her. "No, sweetheart." But his voice carries less certainty than he wants. He stands and opens the door. Cold air pushes into the house. Marcus steps forward under the porch light. Rain drips from the edge of his short hair. His sharp eyes move past Darius and scan the living room. They land on Imani, then on Zarya. For a moment, Marcus says nothing. The silence stretches. Then he sighs slowly. "So, it's true?" Darius folds his arms. "What are you doing here, Marcus?" Marcus steps inside and shuts the door behind him. Water drips onto the wooden floor. "You left the gala without your driver." "I can walk when I want." "You can," Marcus says calmly. But billionaires usually don't walk into neighborhoods like this during a storm." Imani crosses her arms. "This neighborhood isn't dangerous." Marcus glances at her. "That depends on who's looking." Darius steps closer. "Enough games. Why are you here?" Marcus studies him carefully. "Because your mother sent me." The words land heavy. Darius's jaw tightens. "My mother?" "Yes." Zarya tilts her head. "You have a mommy too?" Marcus's face softens slightly. Everyone does. Darius ignores the moment. "What does my mother want?" Marcus reaches inside his coat. Imani stiffens instantly, but he only pulls out a phone. He taps the screen and shows Darius a message. Darius reads it. His stomach drops. "Bring him home immediately." The situation has escalated. Darius looks up slowly. "What situation?" Marcus lowers the phone. "The one involving your daughter." The room freezes. Imani steps forward. "Your daughter?" Marcus looks confused. You didn't tell her?" Darius rubs his temples. "Tell her what?" Marcus exhales slowly. "Your mother has known about the child for years." Imani's face drains of color. "What?" Darius turns sharply. "You knew about this." Marcus nods once. "Yes." Imani's voice shakes. "You mean to tell me the Blackwell family knew about Zarya? And no one contacted us?" Marcus looks uncomfortable. "It wasn't my decision." Darius steps closer. "Then whose decision was it?" Marcus hesitates, and the silence in the room grows thick. Finally, he says the name. "Your father." The air feels suddenly colder. Darius's eyes harden. "My father died 3 years ago." "Yes. But before he died, he gave strict orders." "What orders?" Marcus glances toward Zarya. She sits quietly on the couch, hugging her stuffed rabbit. He lowers his voice. "He ordered that the child never be brought into the Blackwell family." Imani's hands tremble. So he paid me to disappear." Marcus nods slowly. "Yes." Darius feels something hot rise inside his chest. He had no right. Marcus gives a small, humorless laugh. "Your father believed he had every right." Imani steps forward. "He sent a man to my apartment 8 years ago." Marcus nods again. "That was me." The words hit like thunder. Imani's eyes widen. "You?" "I offered you money. You told me my daughter would ruin the Blackwell legacy." Marcus's face tightens. "I was following orders." Darius stares at him. "And you thought that was okay?" Marcus meets his gaze calmly. "I thought it was above my pay grade." Zarya suddenly stands up. "Why is everyone talking about me like I'm a secret?" The room falls silent again. Darius walks toward her slowly. He kneels. "You're not a secret." She studies his face. "Then why does everyone look scared?" Darius opens his mouth, but no answer comes. "Because the truth is complicated. Oh, and children deserve simple truths. Before he can speak, Marcus's phone buzzes. He looks down. His expression changes instantly. "What is it?" Darius asks. Marcus turns the screen toward him. A news alert flashes across it. Blackwell Industries Board emergency vote tonight. Darius frowns. "What does that have to do with—" Marcus interrupts. "They're voting to remove you as CEO." The words slam into the room. Imani gasps softly. Darius takes the phone. He reads the alert twice. Why? Marcus's voice drops lower. "Because the board just received evidence that you have an undisclosed child." Imani steps backward. "How did they—" Marcus answers immediately. "Someone leaked it," Zaria whispers quietly. "Are they mad because I exist?" No one answers her. Darius slowly hands the phone back. "Who leaked it?" Marcus shakes his head. "I don't know yet." Thunder cracks outside. Rain hits the windows harder now. Imani walks toward Darius. Is this going to destroy your company?" Darius stares at the floor. "It could." Marcus crosses his arms. "The board hates surprises. And a secret daughter is the biggest surprise possible." Zaria pulls on Darius's sleeve. "Are you going to leave now?" Darius looks down at her. Her big brown eyes search his face carefully. He shakes his head. "No." Marcus raises an eyebrow. "You realize the board meeting is in less than an hour." "I know. And if you're not there, they'll remove me." Silence stretches again. Then Darius says something unexpected. "I'm staying here." Marcus stares at him. "You're choosing them over the company?" Darius looks at Zaria. She's still holding his sleeve. Her tiny hand grips it like she's afraid he'll disappear. "Yes." Marcus sighs deeply. "Yeah, you have no idea what storm you just walked into." Darius glances toward the rain pounding outside. "Oh, I think I do." Marcus moves toward the door. "Then we're both about to get wet." Darius frowns. "What do you mean?" Marcus opens the door slowly. Headlights flash across the yard again. Another car has pulled up. This one even longer. "Black. Luxury," Imani whispers nervously. "Who is that now?" Marcus's voice turns quiet. That is the real problem." The back door of the car opens. An older woman steps out. Elegant. Sharp posture. Eyes like steel. Darius breathes out slowly. "Mom." Marcus nods. "Your mother doesn't travel in storms unless something serious is happening." The woman walks toward the house with slow, confident steps. Zaria whispers to Darius. "Is she my grandma?" Darius watches the woman approach the door. "Yes." Zaria smiles softly. "What, do you think she'll like me?" Darius doesn't answer. Because the woman about to knock on that door once tried to erase Zaria from existence. And tonight, she might reveal the one secret that changes this entire story forever. Would you open the door for a grandmother who once tried to erase your child? Why would the Blackwell board move against Darius at the exact same moment the truth comes out? And the biggest question, who leaked the secret about Zaria to the entire world? The knock lands hard against the door. The small house shakes with it. Rain lashes the windows while thunder rolls across the dark sky. Darius stands still for 1 second too long. Zaria clutches the sleeve of his jacket and whispers, "Is that my grandma?" Imani steps closer to him, voice low. "You said your mother once paid me to disappear. Why would she come here now?" Another knock, stronger. Darius exhales slowly and reaches for the handle. The door swings open, so cold wind rushes inside with the smell of wet pavement and car exhaust. Victoria Blackwell stands on the porch. Her silver hair sits perfectly in place despite the storm. Her dark coat hangs straight and expensive. Diamond earrings catch the porch light. Her eyes move across the room like scanners. First Darius, then Imani, then Zaria. She says nothing for 3 seconds. The silence grows heavy. Zaria waves shyly. Hi. Victoria's face tightens. Well, she finally says, to stepping inside. That answers the question. Darius closes the door. What question? Victoria removes her gloves slowly. The question of whether the rumors were true. Imani crosses her arms. You mean the rumors you created? Victoria glances at her. You must be Imani Rivers. Yes? You look different from the photo. Imani frowns. You've been watching us? Victoria ignores the question and walks deeper into the living room. Her heels click against the wooden floor. She stops in front of Zaria. The little girl stares up at her without fear. Are you really my grandma? Zaria asks. Victoria studies her face carefully. Her eyes linger on the girl's nose, her cheekbones. The familiar dimple. For a moment, something cracks in Victoria's expression. Then it disappears. Yes, she says quietly. Zaria grins. I knew it. Darius steps forward. Mom, why are you here? Victoria turns toward him. Because your life is collapsing in real time. Marcus clears his throat near the door. The board vote is already underway. Victoria nods. Exactly. Darius folds his arms. So you drove through a storm to watch it happen? Victoria's voice sharpens. I drove here to stop you from making the worst decision of your life. Imani laughs softly. Too late for that. Victoria's eyes flash. You think this is amusing? No, Imani says calmly. Oh, I think it's honest. Victoria steps closer. You had 8 years to contact my son. I tried. You accepted the money. Because your man told me my child would be destroyed by your family. Marcus shifts uncomfortably. Victoria glances at him. That warning was accurate. Zaria looks between them. Why would anyone destroy me? The room freezes again. Darius kneels beside her. No one is destroying you. Victoria sighs softly. Oh, you're making promises you cannot keep. Darius stands up. Enough! Victoria turns back toward him. You think this is a family reunion? It is. No, she says coldly. It's a battlefield. Darius stares at her. What are you talking about? Victoria opens her purse. She removes a thin folder. When she places it on the table, the sound echoes through the quiet room. Because your father left something behind when he died. Darius frowns. What does that mean? Victoria opens the folder. Inside are several legal documents. She slides one across the table. Darius picks it up. His eyes move across the page. His heartbeat slows, then speeds up again. Is this real? He whispers. Victoria nods. Yes. Imani steps closer. What is it? Darius looks up slowly. My father rewrote the company inheritance. Marcus exhales quietly. Victoria continues speaking. See, if you ever acknowledge an illegitimate child, you lose controlling shares of Blackwell Industries. The words fall into the room like stones. Imani steps back. You're serious. Victoria nods once. Your father believed family scandals weaken empires. Zaria looks confused. What's an empire? No one answers her. Darius grips the paper harder. So, if I claim Zaria as my daughter? Victoria finishes the sentence. You lose the company. Marcus adds quietly, and the board replaces you as CEO tonight. Silence spreads again. Rain hits the windows harder. Imani whispers, That's why you came here. Victoria nods. Yes. To convince him to walk away from us. Victoria meets her eyes. To save the empire his father built. Zaria slowly walks over to Darius. She takes his hand. Are you leaving? Darius looks down at her small fingers wrapped around his. His chest tightens. No. Victoria's voice becomes sharper. Oh, think carefully before you answer. I already have. Victoria points to the document. That company employs 50,000 people. And this child is my daughter. Your father built a dynasty. And he tried to erase my child. Victoria's eyes narrow. You will destroy everything he worked for. Darius leans closer. No. He places the paper back on the table. I'm fixing what he broke. Marcus rubs his forehead. This is about to get ugly. Victoria straightens her coat. Yes, she says. It is. Her phone suddenly vibrates. She checks the screen. Her expression shifts slightly. What now? Darius asks. Victoria looks up slowly. The board vote just ended. Marcus stiffens. And? Victoria locks eyes with her son. They removed you, Zarya gasps. You lost your job? Darius stands silent. Victoria continues. You are no longer CEO of Blackwell Industries. Imani whispers softly. Oh my God. Marcus shakes his head. That was fast. Zarya squeezes Darius's hand tighter. It's okay, she says. You can work here with us. The innocence in her voice breaks something inside the room. Darius kneels again. Sweetheart, I might have just lost billions of dollars. Zarya shrugs. We still have pancakes. Imani covers her mouth to hide a smile. Victoria watches the moment carefully. Then she says something no one expects. You didn't just lose the company. Darius looks up. What else did I lose? Victoria folds the document slowly. You just made yourself the most powerful enemy in the business world. Marcus stiffens. Why? Victoria answers quietly. Because the man who leaked Zarya's existence to the board. She pauses. Her eyes move toward the window. Is about to arrive here. Everyone turns. Headlights sweep across the house again. A third car rolls slowly into the driveway. Long. Black. Darker than the storm itself. See, Marcus whispers under his breath. That can't be good. Darius stares at the vehicle. The driver's door opens. A tall man steps out. Even from across the yard, Darius recognizes the walk. His stomach drops instantly. Imani whispers, Who is that? Darius's voice turns low. The man who wants my company. Marcus nods grimly. And now he knows exactly where your daughter lives. The man begins walking toward the porch, each step slow and confident. Zarya whispers to Darius, Why does he look like he's coming to fight? Darius watches the man approach the door. Because he is. And when that door opens again, the truth about who destroyed Darius Blackwell's empire will finally be revealed. What would you do if protecting your child meant losing everything you built? Would you choose power or family? And who is the man walking up that driveway in the middle of the storm? The knock comes once. Slow. Heavy. The kind of knock that says the person outside already owns the room. Darius doesn't move. Marcus watches the door like a guard dog. Imani pulls Zarya closer to her side. Thunder cracks across the sky. The man knocks again. Victoria sighs quietly. Well, she says. That didn't take long. Darius turns to her. You knew he was coming. I suspected. Marcus whispers. Should I answer it? Darius shakes his head. No. He walks to the door himself, and the handle feels cold in his hand. When the door opens, rain rushes in again, and there he stands, Leonard Grayson, tall, perfect suit, hair slick despite the storm. His smile spreads slowly. Darius, he says, long time. Darius's jaw tightens. You destroyed my company in under an hour. Leonard shrugs. You left the door open. Marcus steps forward. you leaked the child's existence. Leonard glances inside the house. His eyes land on Zarya. Well, he says softly. Ah, there she is. Imani steps in front of the girl instantly. You don't get to look at her like that. Leonard raises his hands politely. Relax, I'm not the villain here. Victoria laughs once. You bought half the board votes. Business. You used a child to do it. Leonard smiles again. That child already existed. Darius grabs Leonard by the front of his coat. The room explodes with tension. Say one more word about her. Marcus steps between them. Sir Darius. Leonard slowly removes Darius's hand from his collar. Violence won't help you tonight. Darius steps back. Why are you here? Leonard walks inside without permission. He glances around the small living room. Interesting place. Imani's voice cuts in. Get out! Leonard ignores her. He stops in front of Zarya. The girl studies him carefully. You're rude, she says. Leonard chuckles. Kids are honest. Darius steps forward again. I leave. Leonard finally looks at him. I came to make you an offer? Victoria crosses her arms. Oh, this should be good. Leonard pulls a document from his coat. He places it on the table. Sign this. Darius doesn't move. What is it? A transfer agreement. For what? For the remaining shares you still own. Marcus exhales sharply. You're trying to take the entire company. Leonard nods. Yes. Darius laughs once. Ah, would I help you do that? Leonard looks at Zarya again. Because if you don't? He pauses. The room grows quiet. Every reporter in America will know exactly where this little girl lives before sunrise. Imani's face drains of color. You wouldn't. Leonard shrugs. The press loves billionaire scandals. Victoria whispers. You snake. Leonard smiles politely. I prefer strategist. Darius steps closer. You're threatening a child. Leonard shrugs again. Since I'm negotiating. Zarya looks confused. Why do grown-ups keep fighting about me? No one answers. Leonard slides a pen across the table. Sign it. Darius stares at the paper. If he signs, Leonard owns everything. If he refuses, Zarya's life becomes public chaos. Marcus whispers quietly. Think carefully. Imani grips Zarya's shoulders. Victoria watches silently. Leonard taps the table. Clock's ticking. Darius picks up the pen. The room holds its breath. Zarya whispers softly. Are we in danger? Darius looks down at the paper, then at her, then back at Leonard. And slowly, he begins to sign. But before the pen finishes the first letter, Marcus's phone explodes with alerts. He glances down. His eyes widen. Wait! Everyone turns to him. What? Darius asks. Marcus looks at Leonard, then at Victoria, then at the screen again. You're not going to believe this. Leonard frowns. Believe what? Marcus lifts the phone. The news headline glows on the screen. Breaking. Secret Blackwell Trust. Just activated. Victoria's eyes widen slightly. That's impossible. Darius looks confused. What trust? Marcus swallows slowly. The one your father hid from everyone. Leonard's smile finally disappears. Because the empire Darius thought he lost tonight might still belong to him, but only if he uncovers the final secret his father left behind. Marcus's phone screen glows in the dim living room. Rain taps against the windows like impatient fingers. Everyone leans closer. The headline sits there, bright and impossible. Breaking. Secret Blackwell Trust. Just activated. Leonard Grayson snatches the phone from Marcus's hand. His confident smile fades as his eyes scan the screen. That's fake, he mutters. Victoria steps closer. Let me see. Leonard hesitates for a second before handing the phone over. Victoria reads the article silently. Her expression tightens. And then she whispers, almost to herself, "He actually did it." Darius frowns. "Did what?" Victoria slowly lifts her eyes. "Your father created a second inheritance." Marcus exhales. "A hidden trust." Leonard scoffs loudly. "Convenient story." Victoria ignores him. "The trust was designed to activate only if you were removed from the company." Darius stares at her. "So he expected this?" "Yes." The room falls quiet. Zaria sits on the couch hugging her stuffed rabbit. "Nurse, why would a grandpa hide money like that?" Victoria kneels slightly so she can look at her. "Because powerful people plan for everything." Leonard laughs coldly. "You're assuming that trust belongs to him." Marcus points to the phone. "It says the beneficiary is unknown." Leonard crosses his arms. "Which means it could belong to anyone." Darius's eyes narrow. "Where is the trust located?" Victoria answers slowly. "Zurich." Marcus nods. "Swiss banking laws. Not impossible to access without authorization codes." Leonard smirks. "Which means it's useless tonight." Darius walks toward the table again. The contract Leonard brought still sits there. The pen lies beside it. Rain grows heavier outside. Imani's voice breaks the silence. "So let me understand this." Everyone turns to her. "You're all fighting over billions of dollars, while my daughter's safety is still a bargaining chip." Leonard lifts his hands. "I offered a simple solution. By threatening a child. By negotiating." Imani's eyes flash. "You keep calling it negotiation. I call it cowardice." Zaria whispers to Darius, "Is he a bad guy?" Darius answers softly, "He's a man who wants something very badly." Leonard shrugs. "That's how business works." Victoria suddenly straightens. "Enough." The room quiets again. She looks directly at Leonard. "My husband anticipated people like you." Leonard tilts his head, flattered. "The trust contains more than money." Darius frowns. "What else?" Victoria hesitates. Marcus watches her carefully. "You never told him, did you?" Marcus says quietly. Victoria exhales slowly. "Because I hoped it would never matter." Darius's voice hardens. "Tell me now." Victoria finally speaks. "The trust controls the original Blackwell patents." Leonard freezes. Marcus whispers under his breath, "That changes everything." Darius looks confused. "Aye? What patents?" Victoria stares at Leonard. "The technology that built the first Blackwell fortune." Leonard's calm posture cracks. "That's impossible. Those patents expired years ago." Victoria smiles slightly. "Public patents expired. Private ones didn't." Marcus nods slowly. "Defense technology, energy storage, medical devices." Leonard's jaw tightens. "You're lying?" Victoria holds up the phone again. "Says if the trust activated, then Darius now owns those patents." Silence fills the house. Even the rain seems quieter. Zaria breaks the moment. "Does that mean Daddy isn't poor?" Darius looks down at her. "I was never poor." Leonard steps closer to the table. "You still don't have the access codes." Victoria glances at the clock on the wall. "Actually, he will in exactly 4 minutes." Marcus raises an eyebrow. "Countdown?" Victoria nods. "Done. Your father programmed the trust to send the access codes to Darius's phone at midnight." Leonard checks his watch instantly. 11:56 p.m. The room suddenly feels smaller. Imani whispers, "So, in 4 minutes..." Darius finishes the sentence. "Everything changes." Leonard shakes his head. "No." He pulls out his own phone. Victoria's eyes narrow. "What are you doing?" Leonard smiles again. "I came prepared." Outside, Engines roar suddenly. Marcus turns toward the window, and three black SUVs slide into the street. Doors open. Large men step out. Marcus mutters, "Security team!" Darius frowns. "Yours?" Leonard pockets his phone. "Yes." Imani grabs Zaria's shoulders. "What's happening?" Leonard speaks calmly. "In 4 minutes, Darius becomes the most valuable man in the tech world." Victoria steps closer. "You wouldn't dare." Leonard shrugs. "If he never receives those codes, the trust stays frozen." Marcus whispers, "Phone jammer." Leonard smiles. Exactly." Marcus checks his signal. Nothing. Darius looks at his own phone. No service. Leonard sits down comfortably. "We'll just wait here until midnight passes." Imani's voice shakes. "You're blocking the signal so the codes never arrive?" Leonard nods. "Smart, right?" Victoria's eyes burn with anger. "You're committing corporate sabotage." Leonard leans back in the chair. "Prove it." Zaria whispers, "What happens if the codes don't come?" Marcus answers quietly. Here, the trust locks permanently. Darius watches the clock. 3 minutes left. Leonard smiles wider. "You could still sign my contract." Darius looks at the paper again. The pen waits beside it. Imani whispers to him, "Don't do it." Victoria says nothing. Marcus stares at the silent phone. 2 minutes. Leonard drums his fingers on the table. Tick, tick. Zaria squeezes Darius's hand. "Please don't let the bad man win." Darius looks down at her small face, then at Leonard, then at the silent phone. 1 minute. Thunder crashes outside. The clock ticks louder. 30 seconds. Leonard grins. "Looks like the signal isn't coming." Victoria suddenly steps forward. "You forgot one thing." Leonard frowns. "What?" Victoria points toward the couch. Everyone turns. Zaria sits there holding something in her small hands. Darius's old watch, the one he left at the bus stop earlier. Marcus whispers, "Wait." Victoria smiles slowly. "Your father hid the backup code somewhere no corporate spy would ever search." Leonard's voice drops. "Where?" Zaria lifts the watch proudly. It beeped. The screen lights up. A message flashes across it. Access granted. Leonard's face drains of color. And in that moment, everyone realizes the empire Darius thought he lost tonight has just returned to him in the most unexpected way. But the real question is, what will Leonard Grayson do now that his plan has failed? And the answer might turn this quiet house into the most dangerous place in the city before sunrise. If someone threatened your child to steal your empire, what would you do next? Would you show mercy or fight back? Leonard Grayson stops smiling. The watch screen still glows in Zaria's small hands. Access granted. The words feel heavier than the storm outside. Marcus steps forward slowly. "Well," he says quietly, "that didn't go how you planned." Leonard stares at the watch like it insulted him. "That device shouldn't have access." Victoria folds her arms. "My husband designed it that way." Darius kneels beside Zaria. "Sweetheart." "Can I see that?" She hands him the watch proudly. "It said you won." Darius studies the tiny screen. A new message appears. Primary trust owner confirmed. Darius Blackwell. Marcus exhales loudly. "That's it," Imani whispers. "What does that mean exactly?" Victoria answers calmly. "It means the empire didn't disappear tonight." Leonard's voice cuts through the room. "It means nothing." Everyone turns to him. He stands slowly. "You still lost your company." Marcus shrugs. "Technically, yes." Leonard points at Darius. "You have patents and a trust fund." He smiles again. "But I still control Blackwell Industries." Darius stands up. Enjoy it. Leonard tilts his head. You're walking away? For now. Victoria watches her son carefully. Marcus notices the look. You're planning something. Darius pockets the watch. I'm planning several things. Leonard laughs softly. I admire your confidence. He glances toward the door. His security team still waits outside. But confidence doesn't change reality. Zarya suddenly speaks. My mommy says bullies talk a lot before they leave. Leonard pauses. The room grows quiet again. Then he chuckles. Shag smart kid. Imani pulls her closer. Stay away from her. Leonard straightens his coat. I was leaving anyway. Marcus steps toward the door. Good choice. Leonard stops beside Darius. His voice drops lower. This isn't over. Darius meets his gaze. I know. You just started a war. Darius nods. I finished one. Leonard smirks slightly. We'll see. Then he walks toward the door. Rain blows in again as it opens. His men move quickly toward the SUVs. The engines start. But moments later, the vehicles disappear down the street. Silence fills the house. Only the rain remains. Imani finally exhales. Is he really gone? Marcus checks the window. For tonight. Zarya climbs onto the couch. Can we eat pancakes now? Victoria actually laughs. The sound surprises everyone. Yes, she says softly. Pancakes sound appropriate. Imani looks confused. You're staying? Victoria glances at Zarya, then at Darius. Yes. Marcus raises an eyebrow. Hi, that's new. Victoria walks slowly toward the couch. She kneels in front of Zarya. The powerful woman studies the child again, this time longer. You look like him, she says. Zarya smiles proudly. I know. Victoria hesitates. Then she does something no one expects. She hugs her. Imani's eyes widen. Marcus whispers, Did hell just freeze? Darius smiles slightly. Victoria stands again. Well, she says firmly, we have work to do. Marcus nods. T. Leonard controls the company. Victoria shakes her head. For now. Darius lifts the watch again. Let's see what my father actually left me. He taps the screen. A new message opens. Marcus leans closer. Imani watches nervously. Victoria reads over his shoulder. The message is short, but the last line makes everyone freeze. If you are reading this, Darius, it means you finally chose family over power. Good, because the real Blackwell Empire was never the company. It's the network I built in secret, Marcus whispers slowly. Network? Darius scrolls further. A long list of names appears. Investors, governors, technology leaders, media owners. Imani gasps. Those are some of the most powerful people in the country. Victoria nods quietly. Your father always played a deeper game. Darius reads the final sentence aloud. Contact them. They are waiting for you. Marcus leans back. Leonard thinks he won tonight. Victoria smiles slightly. He has no idea what's coming. Zarya tilts her head. Does that mean Daddy gets his job back? Darius looks down at her. He smiles slowly. Something even bigger. Thunder rolls across the sky again. But inside the small house, the storm has shifted. Because the man who thought he lost everything tonight may have just inherited something far more powerful than a company. And the next move he makes could shake the entire billionaire world. If you suddenly discovered a hidden network of powerful allies ready to follow you, what would you do first? Would you rebuild the empire that was stolen from you? Or would you create something even greater? Leonard Grayson stops smiling. The watch screen still glows in Zarya's small hands. Access granted. The words sit in the room like thunder that hasn't finished echoing. Rain taps the windows. Wind pushes against the small house. Marcus steps forward slowly. Well, he says under his breath, that changes things. Leonard stares at the watch like it insulted him personally. That device shouldn't have access to anything. Victoria's voice stays calm. My husband designed it that way. Darius kneels beside Zaria. Sweetheart, can I see the watch? She nods and hands it to him. It beeped and showed your name. Darius studies the tiny screen. A second message slides across the display. Primary trust owner confirmed. Darius Blackwell. Marcus exhales. That's official. Imani whispers from behind them. What does that mean exactly? Victoria answers quietly. It means the trust recognized him as the rightful owner. Leonard straightens slowly. It means nothing. Everyone looks at him. Leonard adjusts his cufflinks like the moment never happened. You still lost your company. Marcus folds his arms. He gained a secret trust with private patents. Leonard shrugs. Chad and I gained Blackwell Industries. Darius stands. So enjoy it. Leonard tilts his head. You're giving up? For tonight. Leonard studies him carefully. That answer doesn't sound like surrender. Victoria notices it too. Marcus notices it even faster. You're planning something, Marcus says. Darius slips the watch into his pocket. I'm planning several things. Leonard laughs quietly. I admire your confidence. He glances toward the door. His security team still waits outside in the rain. But confidence doesn't rebuild an empire. Zaria suddenly speaks from the couch. My mommy says bullies talk a lot before they leave. The room goes quiet. Leonard pauses. Then he chuckles. Kids are honest. Imani pulls Zaria closer. Stay away from her. Leonard spreads his hands. I'm leaving. Marcus steps aside and opens the door. Rain blows in again. Leonard stops beside Darius before stepping out. His voice drops low. This isn't finished. Darius meets his eyes. I know. You just started a war. Darius nods once. I finished one. Leonard smiles faintly. We'll see. Then he walks into the storm. His men climb into the black SUVs. Engines roar. Headlights sweep across the small yard. Within seconds, the vehicles disappear down the street. Silence fills the house again. Only the rain remains. Imani exhales slowly. Is he really gone? Marcus checks through the curtain. For now. Zaria climbs onto the couch and swings her legs. Can we have pancakes now? The sudden question cracks the tension. Victoria actually laughs. The sound surprises everyone. Yes, she says softly. Pancakes sound appropriate. Imani blinks at her. You're staying? Victoria glances at Zaria, then at Darius. Yes. Marcus raises an eyebrow. That's a new development. Victoria walks slowly toward the couch. She kneels in front of Zaria, and the powerful woman studies the little girl's face again. The same eyes, the same smile. You look like him, Victoria says quietly. Zaria grins. I know. Victoria hesitates for a moment. Then she pulls Zaria into a gentle hug. Imani's eyes widen. Marcus whispers, Did hell just freeze? Darius hides a small smile. Victoria stands and straightens her coat. Well, she says firmly, we have work to do. Marcus nods. Leonard controls the company. Victoria shakes her head. For now. Darius pulls the watch back out. Let's see what my father really left behind. He taps the screen. Another message opens. Marcus leans closer. Imani watches nervously. Victoria reads over his shoulder. The message is short, but it stops everyone. Darius reads it out loud. If you are reading this, Darius, it means you finally chose family over power. The room grows quiet. Zaria looks up. That sounds like Grandpa. Darius continues reading. Good. Odd, because the real Blackwell Empire was never the company. Marcus whispers, "What does that mean?" Darius scrolls down. The next line appears. "It's the network I built in secret." A list appears on the screen. Dozens of names: investors, tech founders, governors, media executives. Imani gasps softly. "Those are some of the most powerful people in the country." Victoria nods slowly. "Your father always played a deeper game." Darius reads the final sentence. "Contact them, and they are waiting for you." Marcus leans back. "Leonard thinks he won tonight." Victoria smiles faintly. "He has no idea what's coming." Zarya tilts her head. "Does that mean Daddy gets his job back?" Darius kneels beside her again. He smiles. "Something bigger." Outside, thunder rolls across the sky. But inside the little house, the storm has changed direction. Because the man who thought he lost everything tonight just discovered an empire hidden in plain sight. And the first phone call he makes could change the future of every person in that room. So here's the real question for you listening right now. If you suddenly discovered a secret network of powerful allies waiting for you, what would be the first move you make? Would you rebuild the empire that was stolen from you? Or create something even greater? The phone feels heavier than it should. Darius stands near the small kitchen window, while rain slides down the glass in slow lines. Everyone in the living room watches him. Marcus leans against the wall with his arms folded. Imani stands beside the couch with Zarya tucked close to her side. Victoria sits quietly, her posture straight, like she's back in a boardroom instead of a small house. The list of names glows on the watch screen in Darius's hand. Powerful names, dangerous names. People who move entire industries with a single phone call. Marcus breaks the silence. "Guillaume, you going to call one of them, or just stare at it all night?" Darius scrolls slowly. Each name brings a memory. Old business meetings, fundraisers, quiet conversations his father once had behind closed doors. He stops at the first name, Evelyn Carter. Imani whispers, "Is she important?" Marcus lets out a low whistle. "Important? She controls half the tech investors in Silicon Valley." Victoria nods. "She and your father built the first Blackwell research lab together." Darius presses the call button. The room becomes so quiet that even Zarya stops moving. The phone rings once, twice. Then a woman answers. Her voice is calm and steady. "Hello?" Darius clears his throat. "Miss Carter, this is Darius Blackwell." There's a pause. Then she laughs softly. "Well, that took longer than I expected." Everyone in the room exchanges looks. Darius frowns. You were expecting my call?" "Your father told me you'd call one day." Marcus whispers, "That man planned everything." Darius steps toward the window. "He left me access to the trust." "Yes," Evelyn replies, "and that means you finally made the right decision." "What decision?" "Family over power." Darius glances back at Zarya. She sits cross-legged on the couch, watching him like he's a superhero. Evelyn continues speaking. "Oh, your father believed you wouldn't understand the network until you lost the company." Marcus shakes his head quietly. "Savage." Darius asks the question that matters most. "Can the network help me rebuild?" Evelyn's answer comes instantly. "Rebuild?" She chuckles. "Darius, you're thinking too small." Victoria smiles slightly. Darius frowns. "What do you mean? You don't need to rebuild Blackwell Industries." "Then what do I need to do?" "Replace it." The word hangs in the air, and Marcus raises an eyebrow. "I like her already." Darius rubs the back of his neck. "Leonard Grayson controls the board." "Temporary." "You sound very confident." Evelyn's voice grows sharper. Leonard just declared war on a network of people who funded the modern tech industry. Marcus mutters, "That man made a huge mistake." Imani speaks up from across the room. "Can he hurt us?" Darius repeats the question into the phone. Evelyn's answer is serious. "Yes." Everyone stiffens. But not for long," she adds. "What does that mean?" "Leonard believes he stole an empire tonight." She pauses. "What he really did was expose himself." Victoria stands slowly. "He showed his hand." "Exactly," Evelyn says. Darius leans against the counter. "So what's the next move?" Evelyn doesn't hesitate. "You come to New York tomorrow." Marcus nods instantly. "Smart." Darius frowns. "Why?" "Because the rest of the network is already gathering." Imani's eyes widen. "Saad, they're meeting?" "Yes," Evelyn replies. "Your father built this alliance for one moment." "What moment?" "For the day someone tried to steal the Blackwell legacy." Marcus whispers, "Tonight." Evelyn continues, "And now that day has arrived." Darius looks down at the watch again. The list of names feels less mysterious now. It feels like an army. "How many people are in this network?" he asks. Evelyn answers calmly. 32. Marcus lets out a slow breath. That's 32 billionaires." Victoria corrects him. 32 decision-makers." Zarya raises her hand like she's in school. "Can I come to New York?" Everyone laughs softly. Evelyn hears it through the phone. "Is that the daughter?" Darius smiles. "Yes." "Good." "What do you mean, good?" "Because she's the reason the network exists." Darius blinks. "Oh, what?" "Your father believed the Blackwell Empire would only survive if the next generation protected family first." Victoria looks surprised. "He never told me that." Evelyn chuckles. "He didn't tell anyone." The call grows quiet for a moment. Then Evelyn speaks again. "Bring your daughter tomorrow." Imani steps forward. "Why?" "Because the people in that room need to see the future they are protecting." Marcus nods slowly. "That's powerful." Darius looks at Zarya again. She's drawing something with crayons now. "What are you drawing?" he asks. "A castle?" Marcus laughs. "Kid already thinking like a billionaire." Evelyn's voice returns through the phone. "One more thing." Darius listens carefully. "Leonard Grayson won't wait." "What do you mean?" "He's already planning his next move." Marcus frowns. "How do you know?" Evelyn answers quietly. "Because he called 2 members of the network tonight." The room goes silent. Darius's voice hardens. "See, and? They refused him." Victoria nods. "Good." Evelyn finishes the sentence slowly. "But he made them an offer." Marcus whispers, "What kind of offer?" The answer comes like thunder. "One that could destroy you before sunrise." Darius straightens. "What offer?" Evelyn's voice lowers. "He's offering $10 billion to anyone who brings him the trust access codes." Marcus swears under his breath. Imani grips Zarya tighter. Victoria's eyes narrow. Darius looks down at the watch in his hand. The codes. Right there. And suddenly, he understands something terrifying. The war Leonard started tonight has already spread far beyond this little house. And somewhere in the city, someone might already be coming to steal those codes. So here's the question for you listening right now. If 32 powerful people held the future of your family, who would you trust first? The knock comes just after midnight. Soft. Careful. Nothing like Leonard's knock earlier. Marcus looks up immediately. His instincts snap awake. Darius slowly walks toward the door. Imani whispers behind him. "Another visitor?" Marcus checks the window. A single black car sits in the street. No security convoy. No flashing lights. Victoria watches quietly. That's not Leonard's style. Zarya peeks around the couch. Maybe it's pizza. Marcus chuckles. At midnight? Zarya shrugs. Rich people eat late. Darius opens the door. A tall woman stands under the porch light. Rain slides off her dark coat. Her sharp eyes meet his. Darius Blackwell, she says. Yes? She steps inside quickly. Marcus stiffens. Easy, she says calmly. My name is Renee Lawson. Victoria's eyebrows lift. The senator? Renee nods. Yes. Imani whispers. A senator is in my living room. Renee looks around the house once, then straight at Darius. I didn't have time to schedule a meeting. Marcus crosses his arms. Well, so you drove here instead. Yes. Darius closes the door behind her. What's going on? Renee removes a folder from her bag. You need to see this. She spreads several papers across the table. Marcus leans forward first. His face darkens. Oh, this is bad. Darius looks down. What is it? Renee answers quietly. Leonard Grayson just filed emergency court papers. Victoria stiffens. For what? Renee points to the document. A custody claim. The room freezes. Imani's voice cracks. Custody? Renee nods. He's arguing that because your daughter threatens corporate stability, the courts should place her under protective guardianship. Darius stares at her. You're saying he's trying to take my child? Yes. Zarya looks confused. Why would he do that? Imani kneels beside her. Because some people don't fight fair. Marcus rubs his forehead. That's a brutal move. Victoria's voice turns cold. If the court freezes custody, Darius can't travel with her. Renee nods. And if he can't travel, Marcus finishes the sentence. He can't reach the network in New York. Darius looks back at the watch. Leonard's plan suddenly becomes clear. Zarya whispers softly. Am I in trouble? Darius kneels beside her again. No. He places a hand gently on her shoulder. You're the reason we're fighting. Renee watches the moment carefully. Then she says something unexpected. I can stop the court order. Everyone turns to her. Imani blinks. You can? Yes. Marcus raises an eyebrow. But you want something. Renee smiles faintly. Of course. Darius stands. What is it? Renee taps the watch on his wrist. I want access to the network. Victoria immediately shakes her head. No. Renee remains calm. Leonard isn't the only one interested in that power. Marcus studies her carefully. You're playing a dangerous game, Senator. Renee nods. And so are all of you. Darius walks slowly toward the table. He studies the documents again. Leonard is trying to trap him. If the custody order passes, Zarya becomes leverage forever. Darius looks back at Renee. You'll block the court order? Yes. And in return, you want to join the network. Correct, Victoria whispers sharply. You can't trust politicians, Renee shrugs. You already trust billionaires. Marcus chuckles quietly. She has a point. Zarya tugs on Darius's sleeve. Daddy, he kneels again. Yes? She points to the window. There's another car. Everyone turns. Headlights shine through the rain again. Marcus moves to the curtain. He pulls it aside slightly. His face goes pale. That's not good. Darius steps beside him. What is it? Marcus whispers. Federal agents. Renee closes her eyes. Too late. Imani gasps. What do they want? Renee answers quietly. Leonard's second move. Darius turns to her. What did he do? Renee's voice becomes serious. He reported the trust as stolen intellectual property. Marcus shakes his head. That means the government can seize it. Victoria's eyes burn with anger. He's trying to take everything. Outside, car doors slam. Heavy footsteps move toward the porch. Zarya whispers softly, "Are they coming for us?" Darius looks down at her, then back at the door. The knock comes again, louder this time, and the voice outside says words that freeze the entire room. "Federal authority, open the door." Now the real question becomes this. If the government believes your empire is illegal, how do you prove the truth before they take everything? And more importantly, who inside the network might secretly be helping Leonard destroy Darius from the inside? The knock shakes the door harder this time. "Federal authority, I opened the door." The voice outside is firm and impatient. Inside the small house, nobody moves. Rain hammers the roof. Zarya grips the edge of the couch cushion and whispers, "Are they here for Daddy?" Imani pulls her close. "No one is taking your father." Marcus steps beside the door, eyes sharp. "Darius, we need to think carefully." Victoria stands perfectly still. They wouldn't come without a warrant. Renee Lawson already knows the answer. They have one. Darius exhales slowly. Then hiding won't help. He reaches for the handle. Marcus grabs his arm. Once that door opens, the game changes. Darius looks at him. The game already changed. He opens the door. 3 federal agents stand on the porch under the stormlight. Dark coats, badges out, serious faces. The man in front speaks first. "Darius Blackwell." "Yes?" "I'm Agent Coleman with the Federal Financial Crimes Division." He lifts a folder. "Ouch, we have a court order to seize the Blackwell Trust." Imani gasps softly behind him. Marcus folds his arms. "On what grounds?" Coleman reads from the document. "Suspicion of stolen defense technology and illegal asset concealment." Victoria steps forward. "That trust belongs to my family." Coleman looks at her calmly. "Tonight, it belongs to the federal government until the investigation is complete." Zarya whispers to Imani, "What's happening?" Imani kisses her forehead. "Outer grown-up problems?" Darius looks directly at the agent. "You think I stole my own father's patents?" Coleman shrugs slightly. "I think someone reported it that way." Marcus mutters under his breath, "Leonard." Renee steps forward suddenly. "Agent Coleman." Coleman looks at her and pauses. "Senator Lawson." "Yes." She pulls a document from her bag and hands it to him. Coleman reads it quickly. His expression shifts. Marcus whispers, "What did she do?" Renee answers calmly, "Oh, I filed a congressional hold on the seizure." Coleman sighs. "You're slowing down a federal investigation." "Yes," she says simply, "but not stopping it." Coleman looks back at Darius. "You still need to answer a few questions." Darius nods. "Ask." Coleman studies him carefully. "Did your father ever mention a hidden network of investors connected to this trust?" Darius glances briefly at Victoria, then at Marcus. "Yes." Coleman's eyes narrow. "Names." Marcus laughs quietly. "Nice try." Coleman ignores him. "Mr. Blackwell, failure to cooperate could make this situation worse." Victoria steps forward. "My husband built that network legally." Coleman responds calmly. "Then proving it shouldn't be difficult." Silence stretches across the room. Then Zarya speaks. "Why does everyone want Daddy's watch?" The agent looks down at her. "The watch?" Zarya nods. "It has the numbers on it." Everyone freezes. Coleman's eyes move slowly to Darius's wrist. Marcus whispers sharply, "Kid!" But it's too late. Coleman steps closer. "Sir, I'm going to need that watch." Darius studies the agent carefully. The entire war now rests on that tiny device. Victoria's voice drops low. "Think before you hand it over." Renee watches closely. Marcus watches the door. Imani watches Zarya. The storm outside roars louder. Darius slowly removes the watch. Coleman holds out his hand. But instead of giving it to him, Darius presses a small button on the side. The screen lights up again. A new message appears. Broadcasting network verification. Marcus's eyes widen. "Oh, that's brilliant," Coleman frowns. "What did you just do?" Darius smiles slightly. "I called the network." Across the room, Renee's phone begins ringing. Then Marcus's phone. Then Victoria's. Even the agent's radio crackles suddenly. Voices start pouring through. One after another. Powerful voices, familiar names. Evelyn Carter, Senator Briggs, tech founder Aaron Delaney, media executive Carla Moreno. Dozens of voices filling the room through phones and radios. Coleman looks stunned. "What is this?" Darius answers calmly. "Witnesses." Evelyn Carter's voice comes clearly through the speaker. "Agent Coleman, this is Evelyn Carter. I personally funded the patents in the Blackwell Trust." Another voice follows. "And I approved the original contracts." Another. "Gotti and I hold the licensing rights." Another. "And I built the first prototype." The agents look at each other. Coleman slowly lowers his folder. Marcus grins. 32 witnesses. Victoria folds her arms. "My husband prepared for this moment." Coleman exhales slowly. "Well, this just got complicated." Renee smiles faintly. "That was the point?" Zaria whispers to Amani. "Daddy called his friends." Amani nods. "Yes, he did." Coleman closes the folder. "Sorry, we'll need to review all of this." Darius nods. "Take your time." The agent looks around the room one more time. Then he turns toward the door. "We'll be in touch." The agents leave. The door closes. And for the first time all night, the house becomes quiet. Marcus exhales loudly. "That was one hell of a move." Victoria smiles slightly. "Your father would be proud." Darius looks down at Zaria. She smiles back. "Did we win?" Darius lifts her into his arms. Yes." But Marcus raises a finger. "Correction." Everyone looks at him. "This fight isn't over yet." Because somewhere out there, Leonard Grayson just realized his plan failed. And a man like Leonard never walks away quietly, which leads to the final chapter of this story. The moment when Darius Blackwell decides what kind of empire he truly wants to build. And the choice he makes will surprise everyone. Morning sunlight finally replaces the storm. The golden light pours through the kitchen window. The small house feels different now. Calmer. Safer. Zaria sits at the table eating pancakes. Syrup covers half her face. Marcus laughs. Kid eats like a champion. Amani wipes her cheek. "You're making a mess." Victoria sits quietly with a cup of coffee. Still elegant. Still powerful. But softer somehow. Darius stands near the window, looking out at the quiet street. His phone rings. Marcus glances at the screen. "Huh, Leonard?" Darius answers. Leonard's voice comes through immediately. "You surprised me last night." Darius stays calm. "You surprised yourself." Leonard chuckles. "The investigation will slow you down." "Maybe, but not stop you," Leonard says. "No." Silence stretches between them. Then Leonard sighs. "You really gave up the company for that child." Darius looks at Zaria laughing at the table. "Yes." Leonard's voice becomes serious. You could have ruled the business world." Darius answers quietly. "I still can." "But you're choosing family." "Yes." Leonard laughs once. "Strange choice for a billionaire." Darius smiles slightly. "My father thought the same thing." Leonard pauses. "Well, enjoy your victory." The call ends. Marcus raises an eyebrow. That sounded peaceful. Victoria stands. "Leonard knows he lost." Imani looks confused. How? Victoria gestures toward Darius. Because he discovered something stronger than money. Zaria raises her hand again. Love? Marcus points at her. Smartest person in the room. Everyone laughs. Darius walks over to the table. He sits beside his daughter. What are you drawing now? She turns the paper around, a huge building with people standing around it. What's that? He asks. Our company. Imani smiles. You already have one? Zaria nods proudly. It helps people. Victoria studies the drawing carefully. Then she looks at Darius. What will you build next? Darius looks around the small house, the place where everything changed. The same thing my father wanted. Marcus crosses his arms. And that is, Darius answers quietly, an empire that protects families instead of destroying them. Zaria grins. Can it have pancakes? Marcus laughs loudly. Kids got priorities. Victoria smiles. Yeah, for the first time in years, I think this family might actually succeed. Darius stands and looks out the window again. The storm is gone. The city feels new. Because sometimes the greatest fortune a person can receive is the moment they finally understand what truly matters. And that moment began with a simple question in the rain. Sir, can you take me home? Now we want to hear from you. If you were Darius Blackwell, would you choose billions of dollars or your family? Almost did he make the right decision? And what lesson from this story touched you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments. And before you go, remember this. Sometimes the smallest voice asking for help can completely change the future of a billionaire. And maybe even remind the world what real wealth truly means.